Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching today's video. In this video, I'm going to show you this sparkly crystal eye makeup look. And I just love how these glitters look on the eyes, and it's perfect for this time of the year. So I'm going to start with the Bye Bye Dark Spots Concealer from IT Cosmetics, and I'm going to use this to prime the eyelids. I always use an eyeshadow primer, but you really don't have to. When I do my makeup on a daily basis, I never use eyeshadow primer actually, but I do make sure that I do use some concealer to get rid of all the redness on the eyelid. But you can definitely also use a concealer which is long lasting, which is this one from IT Cosmetics. So I'm just blending this all over the eyelid to remove all the redness and make sure that I have a nice clean base for my eyeshadows. So then after that, I'm going to set it with a little bit of powder. I'm also using this powder from IT Cosmetics, and this is a translucent powder, so it won't really leave like any color on the eyelid. It will just make sure that everything is nicely set in place. Then after that, I'm going to go in with this palette, which is the NYX Cosmetics Swear By It palette. This is the large one. They also have these tinier versions, but this is the big one. So I'm going to start with this kind of like soft grayish color, and I'm going to start blending this all the way in my crease. I wanted to make an eye look today which kind of gives you that icy vibes, silvery vibes, perfect for this season. So I wanted to use this color as my transition color to make sure that all the other colors that I'm going to blend more easily into my crease. So I like to always start with a light color and just blend it all over my crease, going from the inner corner to the outer corner, and it just makes the whole blending process so much more easier in comparison if you would go like straight in with a darker color. I know some people prefer the other way around. They start with a dark and then they blend it out with a lighter color. I personally really like to start with a light color, but it's just a personal preference. There's no like good or wrong. It just depends on what works for you, of course. And after blending that gray color, I went in with this kind of like greenish color. And first I kind of like dabbed it onto the outer part, and then with whatever was left on my brush, I'm gonna blend it a little bit more towards the outer V and a bit more towards the crease. This is a darker color, so whenever I do use a darker color, I always use a tiny bit at first, and then I just gradually build it up by going in with more and more of that shade. I find this way easier because let's say you apply too much, it's harder to kind of fix that. And so instead I just like to start with a little bit and just build it up. So you can't really go wrong with that. So that's always the trick that I do. So I'm just continuing to blend, apply more of the shade to really make it as dark and as pigmented as possible on the eyelid, but I'm just making sure that everything looks nicely blended out. So then I went in with this kind of like grayish silvery sparkle shade, and I'm just going to use my finger to apply this over the eyelid. I feel like this always gives most color payoff. So I'm just smearing it on, and this shade has a really subtle kind of like sheen and a slight sparkle in it. I'm just going to use it as my base for the glitters that I'm going to use. Which are these ones from NYX Cosmetics. These are like holographic glitters, and they're just so pretty. So first I use a little bit of like a sticky glitter glue on the eyelid. Then I use my finger, I dip it into the glitter, and then I dip it onto the eyelid. And I'm just, again, starting with a little bit and building it up by going in with more and more. But I just love this glitter. I think I've used it before on my channel. I will see if I can find it. If I do, I will link it down in the description bar. But it just gives such a beautiful effect. And I would definitely suggest to use a shimmery eye color, a shimmery, what is wrong with me? A shimmery shade underneath this, because that will make the glitters blend more beautifully into the eyeshadow underneath. It will give a whole different effect if you use like a matte shade underneath, in comparison to using a shimmery color underneath. So now I'm going to go in with the NYX Cosmetics Epic Wear Waterproof Liquid Liner, and I just love this eyeliner. I think it's actually one of my favorite like drugstore liquid liners because it's really pigmented. It's very black. It has a nice matte finish, and you can just see it for yourself. It's really nice and black. The only thing I would say is the applicator is a little bit like long, so harder to use, especially if you're a beginner in makeup. This can be maybe a bit intimidating. I have a lot of experience with makeup, so I can work with this eyeliner, but I know if you are a beginner and you struggle with your eyeliner, because the tip is flexible, it can be a bit harder. but I would say you can also use like a different eyeliner and then this on top of it, because it does give a really beautiful finish. So then I'm gonna make sure that my eyeliner looks as perfect as possible. Use a little bit of concealer underneath the wing liner to clean everything up. And then I went in with the Infaillible pencil from Loreal, and I'm gonna use this for in my waterline. So this is just a black pencil, and it just gives a nice smoky effect to today's look. So I'm using it in my waterline, and I also used a little bit to like on the upper lash line. So now I'm going to use a black eyeshadow from the NYX Cosmetics palette, and I'm going to use this right underneath the lower lash line. I'm trying to blend it as close as possible against the lash line so you can't really see any skin in between. And then I used a mixture of these two colors to blend out the lower lash line. And I just love that silver shimmer. I mean, you can't really see this color on the eyelid anymore because I covered it up with glitters, but it's nice to use it for the lower lash line so you can still see how pretty that is. So now I'm curling the lashes because it's time for mascara. I'm using this one from Maybelline. It's the Surreal mascara, but I will make sure to put the name in the description bar. It was actually my first time trying this mascara, and I actually really like it. It makes my lower lashes super long, so I will be definitely using this more often, and you will probably see that on my channel. So you can see how nice it makes my lower lashes. I did pop on some falsies because my upper lashes are just a mess. They don't look very long, and especially with a glam look like this, I really want to go with some lashes to finish off the look. So I made sure they were applied nicely. Then I'm gonna finish off the rest of my makeup. I went in with this lip liner from NYX Cosmetics in this beautiful red color. Like I said, I will put the names in the description bar if you want to know exactly what colors I used. So I used this to line my lips. I feel I always use a lip liner, but especially when you're doing like a red lipstick, you do want to use a lip liner. So I'm gonna go in with this lipstick from Yves Saint Laurent in this beautiful reddish color. So beautiful, absolutely love it. Super pigmented, as you can see. Only a few swipes and your whole lip is covered. It's so beautiful, and it is quite an intense shade, I know, but for the holidays it's just perfect. I love it. Then I went in with this liquid highlight from Giorgio Armani, and I'm using this on top of my foundation. This one is really nice because I did use powder on my face, but it didn't mess up my base. It blended really nicely into my foundation, and it has a really beautiful subtle color. Then I went in with this blush. This one is from Lancome. A beautiful kind of, I would say it's quite neutral. I feel like in camera it looks maybe a little bit more peachy, but it's a really nice color to combine with the red lipsticks. And then here you have the finished results. Now I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. This is really helpful for my YouTube channel, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, I just want to say thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.